welcome. Today we're going to be working with Tarot's Minor Arcana number 9. We will learn suit by suit what each of the number 9s represent. And we have this chart here that helps us remember what elements are represented by each suit, and also some aspects of each of the suits, as well as along the top some words to help us remember what the specific numbers mean. And how are you doing with your tarot? Are you learning? Are you enjoying this series? And specifically, do you have your own deck? So as we're going through cards number by number, it'd be great if you have a deck and you can pull your 9s out and look at them. And then as I'm telling you about the card and we're talking about its aspects and the meanings of it, as you're looking at your own card in your hand, maybe other words and other meanings come to you. Maybe you notice some of the symbols on the card itself. Listen to that, because that is your own intuition opening up and dialoguing with the tarot. And if you don't yet have a deck, we're using specifically in this series the Rider-Waite Colman pack, and there's a link in the description if you would like to buy the deck. And I also have a link in the description to the Hanson-Roberts deck. It's much like the Rider-Waite deck, but the images are a little more playful. They're kind of medieval, and the cards themselves are smaller. They're more of the size of a regular playing deck. And guys, I'm affiliated with Amazon. So if you order through one of my links, I will get a commission, probably like 20 cents or something like that. But you need to know that. It doesn't change the price that you pay. By ordering through a link in my description, it helps me in two ways. Obviously through Amazon and the affiliate program, but also because of the way that YouTube operates, the engagement through the description and any links that I have there, and of course your likes and subscriptions and comments, it all helps the YouTube algorithm, and it actually pushes out my videos to their feed. So it's really helpful to me in any way. And if you don't have a deck and you're considering buying one and you like this deck or the Hanson-Roberts, please consider ordering through my affiliate links. Thank you so much. Now let's get into our number 9s. And we're going to start with our 9 of Wands. It's interesting because the 9 of Wands came up in our last video with weaving stories with our 8s. Now in this 9, we can see that this individual has a bandaged head. He's holding one of his wands, and there are 8 more wands. It's like he's in a position of defending something, and he's worked really hard to get here, because the 9s all represent coming toward the end of a cycle. It's not quite at the apex that begins the new cycle, but it's just almost there. And so in this instance, this fire suit tells us that this individual has worked really hard and come to this place through a lot of hard work, and maybe they got banged up along the way, but they're there. They're actually in a position where they know the fight's not over, they know their task isn't completely finished, and they're ready to take on more. They're ready to take on more work. They're ready to continue the fight. They're in a position of waiting out to see what happens next. So before they get too comfortable in this position, they're watching and waiting to see if the fight's really over. And if it's not, they're ready for more. So this is a card that shows that someone has used a lot of ambition, a lot of effort and energy to get here, and they are intending to stay here. 9 of Cups. This card is always called the wish card or the wish fulfillment card in tarot. And you see this individual, he looks like a fat cat, right? Looks like the Cheshire cat, that grin on his face. And he has got both feet on the ground firmly. His arms are loosely crossed, but like authoritatively crossed in front of him. And he's got all of his cups stacked up very neatly, very organized behind him, and he's pleased with himself. His wish has come true. When this card comes up in a reading and the querent has had a specific question, they're going to get their wish. They're going to achieve their goals, and they're going to end up successful and reaping the bounty of the hard work that they've done to get here, again, toward the apex of an end of a cycle. And they'll be taking all of these wonderful cups of fulfillment with them into their new cycle. Here we have the Nine of Swords. And, you know, always with the mental thought process, this nine represents a lot of anguish and grief. It's almost like that nightmare that won't stop. And it also has a lot to do with repeated thinking, playing old tapes in our heads, not being able to stop a specific thought pattern that is filled with anxiety. The picture depicts someone literally sitting up in the middle of the night in bed. They're sitting up, they're awakened because of stress and anxiety. Their head is in their hands. They kind of don't know where to turn. Because nines represent the end of a cycle, this card, depending on the cards that fall around it, can depict that a cycle of anguish and grief is coming to an end. It can represent an individual that is continuing with the same pattern. They're doing the same activities again and again and not learning the lesson. Kind of like the metaphor of the meaning of insanity is doing the exact same thing but expecting a different outcome. This can represent an individual that is stuck in a pattern and doesn't know how to change. So it's a really interesting card, not a happy card. Pentacles have to do with our physicality and our home life. This depicts a person who is comfortable in their own skin, very happy to be on their own, surrounded by worldly comforts and wealth and even luxury, and someone who knows their own mind, who understands themselves and is comfortable with being who they are. I love to see that cypress tree in the background that really is ever growing, and this person is absolutely depicts an actualized human that is very happy being themselves. Those are our nines. And in the next video, we'll be weaving stories with our nines, and depending on the cards that land around them, we'll expand our knowledge of each of these nines and how they relate to other cards. And I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and click the bell, because then you'll be notified when the next video comes out. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.